can come together, learn, find ourselves, and grow. This masterclass is built on the foundation of the message that Creativa Africa preach, and that is your identity advantage. Creativa Africa talks about your identity advantage. And that identity advantage is what? Creating from your core. Creating from who you are. I wanted to say praise the Lord. Yeah, I wanted to end this now with amen. Are you guys with me? All right. I said here, Creativa Africa exists to raise creatives who create from purpose, not pressure. Creatives who build rooted brands. Creatives who understands the power of collaboration. Creatives who honor God through their gifts. And today is not about learning skills. Today is about alignment. Today is about clarity. Today is about stepping into your full creative calling. You see, this masterclass that we're having today, one of the things you are going to learn, number one, is identity clarity. You should be able to find yourself. We have many people doing what we do. We have a lot of people doing exactly what we do. But the question is, how do I stand out? How do I stand out? How am I different? Brand positioning. And our speaker did a fantastic job taking us through that brand positioning. And we have testimonies and testimonies from that. I can confidently tell you that from Creativa Africa, we've been able to train people and place them. We've been able to train people and outsource them. We've been able to train people and outsource them. We've been able to train people that stand for who they are. Like when they get to organizations, there is something different for who they are. Like when they get to organizations, there is something different about them. That even at the organizations, they just send us messages like, you know what? And they pay for that space. I will not lie to you. They pay for that space, for that office was, I think it was 3 million. The space, the pay for that office, 3 million. And so they were talking to that creative, like, oh, so what's up? How you doing? It's everything. Oh, technically the guy is sound. He knows everything very well. And they asked him, so how much should we pay you for this? In his head, he felt like, what's the biggest price I can call? And so he said, I'll charge 450,000 naira. And the person said, all right, no problem. Let's sign it. And he signed the contract. And she was telling me that her head was banking. That contract was 3 million. But the guy collected 450,000. It's not his fault. In that guy's reality, 450,000 is a lot of money. No, let's not deceive ourselves now. If I walk up to you and I say, I like what you do, I like your dress. Can you make one for me? What's your price? Because the best you have made is 100,000. You want to upscale and you feel like 200,000. And the person is thinking, 200,000. Wow. I have, see, this is not even them. Say, I have a colleague of mine here, a photographer. Somebody reached out to me from Lagos. I said, bro, I want to take a birthday picture. I need it ASAP tomorrow. How much do you charge? The guy said, 30,000. And the person traveled and took the shoot. And after you were done with the shoot, the person said, Lagos photographers, that guy charged me 1.5 million. And the guy said, like, Jesus, 30K. And the guy was like, do you know what? I like your work. Let's work together. Bro, there's no how you want to charge that client. You cannot go beyond maybe 50,000. You can't go to 100. Because the guy will feel like, What's up now? What's up? That's understanding your value. And that can only come from exposure. That can come from understanding systems. How do I even charge in the first place? I'm not charging because I want to survive. If you want to survive, you continue charging like that. I'm not charging because I want to survive. I'm charging because I want to build something. And there are things that must be in place for me to charge. And see, for photographers, or for even fashion designers, or for video editors, if we have to break down things very well, okay, somebody called you for a shoot or for a dress. You will go to the person's space, you go and measure, transportation, go and come. When you come back, you see your own health self is very, very important for you to buy your time. So if I'm going to make this person's dress between 6 a.m. to 12 a.m., there's possibility I get other requests by that time, but I want to put that my 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. for this client. Now, how much will I charge for that my hours that I'm spending for this particular client? Oh, if I'm going to charge this client 20,000 for 1 hour, okay, I'm going to use 3 hours for our work. That's 20, 40, 60. All right, 60,000 goes into that. Oh, if I'm going to pay fuel I'm going to pay for, I'm going to pay NEPA. Oh, NEPA bill is maybe 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira. Oh, I will need somebody to assist me in this sort of thing. Okay, that's 20,000. All right, all the workmanship, everything is 100. Okay, for my own job, 100,000. So for me to do all these things, this is 250,000. Job perfectly well without stress. Okay, if I want to maybe upscale and say, okay, instead of doing 250,000, because if they start to bargain, they want to calm down, they want to negotiate. Everybody wants to have a sense of negotiation. If you cost something for me 20,000, I can pay you that 20,000. But because I want to have a sense of negotiation in that our conversation, I just tell you 10,000. Sense of negotiation. 100 naira. If you say, you just feel like that. It happened to me. It still happened last week. I called somebody, do this thing for me. The person said 25. I said, broski, 20. He said, all right. As I wanted to transfer, I said, He said, all right. So so when I was about to make that transfer, I said, I think I should do it half payment. I should first send 10. Then I will not tell him later that it's just because I want to have a sense of negotiation so that I will not feel cheated. That's just it. Because if he says 20,000 and I pay 20,000, and somebody tells you, how much did you call it? 20,000. You just pay 20,000. What you buy? Because you want to have a sense of negotiation. If you call 200,000 for a client, the client wants to have a sense of negotiation. And that is where power now comes in. If you know how to negotiate well, power comes in. Nobody is losing. If you charge 100,000 and the client is supposed to pay you 500,000, you did not lose. The client did not lose. But you will now understand better that, and now me, they do myself actually. So I'm not saying you will see that is just learning work. Bro, I just want to make up and down 50K. Bro, how far now? We know you're just learning this work, but because you know it feels like that's the standard price. Oh, 50K. No, there's a place of understanding where you are. My mentor told me this thing. Olu teams, where are you in your industry? I am in 2014. Where is the industry now? 2026. How can I move from 2014 to 2026? That is your own journey. But those are the things you now start to pay attention to. Oh, I need to start to listen to podcasts every day, at least one every day, for me to catch up with 2026. So every day I start to listen to podcasts. That's a journey for me. So it's not that at 2014, I'm already charging what 2026 is charging. No. Understand where you are. For some people in the fashion industry or in photography or you're a video editor, you just started this work. But because your guy that was training you, or you knew that you charge 100,000 for that work, you don't sabi 3 months. Out of 1 year you're supposed to learn, you don't know 3 months. You should just start to charge 100,000. You will lose customer. Even my buyer, they have not told you. The AB will buy because you will be pushing the clients away. Why? They know you are not there yet. See, my mentor told me something. He said, Olu teams, so fellow Toshi. I said, sir, what does that mean? Do you want to have money or you want to be poor? I said, I want to have money. He said, quickly catch up. Wherever you are now, meet up with the standard. Why? See, if you come to me now and you tell me, Olu teams, I want to do a birthday shoot. How much do you charge? 50,000. If they walk up to my guy, how much do you charge for a birthday shoot? He says 200,000. They check our work. Similar. He charges 200,000. He charges 50,000. They will patronize me. Abi? Very good. But if your sister comes from US tomorrow and she wants to do a birthday shoot, and you now look at it, but when a man charge 50,000, it won't be. I don't think my sister will like. You see that guy that charged 200,000. See, it's just psychology. You just feel like you see that guy that charged 200,000 and his packaging. You fit my sister. But we are doing the same thing. We are doing the same thing. If he snaps and I snap, it's the same thing that you see. But when it comes in for that 200,000, they will be able to say, that's our photographer. And if you come, good morning, how are you doing? You see, there's a lot we need to learn. And I know that the speakers will do justice. There's a lot we need to learn. You see, there's another thing they call packaging. Packaging is not doing what you are not. It's trying to build to a level that you want to attain. It's not what you are not. So, for example, you charge 200,000 for a portrait section, and somebody else is charging 50,000 for a portrait section, and we called the two of you, and the two of you appeared the same way. Nothing different, nothing unique. I can pay you 200,000. Why? So, my mentor told me something. He went for an event. He went for home shoots. Now, he was driving Corolla Sports. Corolla. And so by the time he enters the estate, everybody will know that somebody is passing. Because that Corolla, he smokes a lot. So when the person drives, his work is good, so they will call him. So when he drives in, the security will tell them that, please call the person you are going to meet before we allow you in. So they will call, hello. Now, he got a contract with a big organization. And so as they were discussing, they said, sir, can you please call so person that we need to sign this contract now? And as he was trying to call that person, he was using a techno phone that time. So that phone used to blink. So I said, and he was in his own head, I am big. So how can I give for example? For example, now let's say Vicky James. We all know Vicky James. You know Vicky James is big. She's big. Now imagine a Vicky James on an international platform. I'm not talking about our local platform, international platform. And they're like, Vicky James, this is the Vicky James people talk about. Wow, could have your seat, you see it. And they're like, oh, Vicky James, can you help us reach out to so thing? And Vicky James is trying to unlock maybe her iPhone. And the thing is, are you sure this is the Vicky James? For no reason. You just feel like, I don't think. You just smile. Oh, all right. See, you lost that contract. Somebody had to call him. See, this is the reason he lost that contract. He went to go and buy iPhone. He said, just give me iPhone with 3 cameras. So that when I appear, you just feel like, oh, he's because I went for a global entrepreneurship festival, and the man said something to me that struck me. He said, if you want to speak to the wealthy, you have to speak their language. There is something that when they see, they know that you are there, or you are almost there. But there's something again when they see, you are not there, you are forming it. You want to charge me ₦1,000,000 naira. My bro, you don't look ₦1,000,000, bro. You say you are charging 1 million. So I'm not throwing shades. So they say you are charging 1 million. And your phone, like the way, or when you pass, the way you smell. I think I will end here. The speakers will continue. The speakers will continue from there. So why are we here? We're not just here to catch crews. We're not here to teach you how to set IS or how to do your fashion or how to take pictures, how to do videos. We're here to open your mind to seeing the possibilities, to seeing how you can grow. You are good. You might not be there yet, but you are not where you used to be. The problem is you lack that confidence to push yourself. You lack that positioning. You don't know what to do to get the good clients. See, there are paying clients in Ibadan. They pay. A photographer reached out to me 3 days ago. He picked me from my house and we were driving. I was coming to Bodija. I was going to Iwo Road. And he said, Olu Teams, can you confidently charge? He said, Olu Teams, can you confidently charge 2 million? Yeah. And the young man asked me, and he said, Olutins, can you confidently charge 2 million for an event? Yeah, not in Lagos, here in Ibadan. And I said, okay, yes, I can. Yeah. He said, Olutins, there are some things you need to know that you don't know. The guy was speaking with confidence, like, you see, there are some things you need to know that you don't know. Bro. He said, don't worry, I will show you some things. I'm like, all right, bro, I mean, I can be available anytime. So the best I could get from him as at then was, listen, how much do you charge? So if I want to call you to go and document a wedding for me, how much will you charge me? I said, so price. He said, okay. So I want you will document it. Okay, what if you will edit it for me? How much will you charge? I said, so price. He said, fair enough. He's in Ibadan. He said, fair enough. We'll work together. That's the best I could get from him. I say, I will listen to go and cover this. I will cover it. I will edit it. I'll do everything. Now in logo go there. So when the guy is posting, I'm like, risky. And he will tell you, you cannot post the work. You cannot post. I've paid you. You cannot post it. And you'll be looking at all those work, and the guy will be getting better gigs, and you just be there. Why? There are some things you need to know that you don't know. Information is power. Is power. And I believe that our speakers will do justice to that, bringing us to that light, bringing us where we need to be, to become that which we need to become. Once again, welcome to Creativa Africa, and enjoy the ride. Thank you very much.
A round of applause, please. Thank you so much, all the teams, for that welcome address. Thank you so much for that welcome address. It gives us a clear insight as to why we're here and what Creativa Africa is known for. Once again, thank you. Moving straight into our first session of the day. This session is very important because it sets the foundation today. And to take us through this session is no other than Obi Nnamdi Benin, who is a creative entrepreneur, digital strategist, and product builder focused on helping individuals and businesses build, grow, and scale in the digital space. He has worked across design, marketing, web development, and product strategy, supporting startups, creators, and organizations in turning ideas into functional, profitable systems. He has founded multiple digital initiatives and communities, and he's very passionate about innovation, education, and practical execution. His work centers on simplifying complex ideas, leveraging technology for impact, and empowering people, especially Africans, to take action, build solutions, and create sustainable value in today's fast-changing digital economy. They'll be taking us on the topic, turning creative work into scalable businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I welcome Obi Nnamdi Benin.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Okay. Thank you very, very much. So I'm Obi Nnamdi. Most people know me as Salesman Obi because that's the brand name that I started with when I was building my brand a couple of almost a decade. Thank you very much for making this happen. It's going to be an interesting time and it's going to be an interactive class. So I'm going to be pointing fingers, I'm going to be calling names, and I'm going to be asking questions. So it's not just me speaking and you listening, but we're going to be interactive, right? And it's laid the foundation and the tool I'm able to pass skills to systems, right? I'm going to ask about 5 people here. I can pass the mic, right? Can I pass the mic? Right? I can pass the mic. Okay, so you tell us what you do. So 5 people. 5 people. Me, I'll pick you. If you put your head down, me, I'll pick you. That you're looking at that way, I'm going to ask you. Here's one from you first. Tell us what you do. Okay. Give it to the other person. Salesperson. Sales. Well, that's one. What industry? Banking. That's amazing. My name is Anna. I'm a home entrepreneur and video camera. Oh, that's amazing. You? Photographer. So we have a lot of creatives here, right? You guys will pardon me, so I'm taking my notes. I don't know if they could put up my slides. Is it possible to put up my slides? Slides. Not now. Okay. All right. So we're just gonna get started. So let me start by asking questions here. If you answer if I'm correct. How many of you feel like you're working hard, but your results are not scaling the same? The work you're doing is not matching the money you're making. Anybody here? Raise up your hand if you agree with me. You're making money, but it's not, you're working really hard, but you're not seeing the money the way you want to be seeing it. How many of you are raising your hand? Oh, everybody's seeing their money like this. That's amazing. All right. So, most of us are talented, we're skilled, we know what we are doing, but sometimes the income is not multiplying. And that's because we don't have systems, in place to make these things happen. We look at big companies today, we look at, CEOs, top industries, and we are wondering how these guys are able to make so much money. How much would you charge me? 60,000 users. How much would you charge me? Yes, I want to run ads. You do digital marketing, yes. I want to run ads. How much would you charge me? So you don't have a fee. Okay. Okay. I like your answer. It just proved my thoughts in a certain way that there's still limited amount of money. Now let me explain. If I was going to be, if I was asked that question now, it's not really about the budget because I can tell you my budget is 100,000. Would you be able to deliver 60,000 users with 100,000? No. And that's where things like offers, process. One of the reasons we don't make the kind of money that we want to make or we don't get the kind of results we want to get is because there are no systems in place. Now, your skills, personal output, what you do every day. Oh, I design, I create. It's time dependent. If you are not there, nothing happens. You must be present. If there's what you do, yes. Photography. Who's actively working here? What do you do, sir? Managing director. Nice. Okay, so if you are not around, will the system still work? Yes, because you work in a place that has a system. Sir, if you're not around, will your system still work? It won't work. Why? Because it's about you. That's the difference. If everything is still dependent on you, your growth will even be small. I was having a conversation with somebody who makes caps, clothes. You know, people who do like school uniforms, like tailors and all of that. And I want you're praying, God, I want deals. God, give me deals. But you're not creating the systems for those deals. And then somebody reaches out to her and says, oh, we need 50,000 shirts. Our budget is 10 million. We need it in like 5 places on Saturday. Today is Wednesday. And she's going to deliver. Because there are no systems. Everything revolves around that. And then she's like, God, how can I miss such an opportunity? It's not that you miss an opportunity, it's that you did not prepare for that opportunity. So you have a lot of us that are creatives that are working hard, we're putting in all the effort, we're trying to sell, we're trying to create, we're trying to design, but there are no systems. Now, with systems, you have scalable outputs. Means that one-on-one persons can do it and you can repeat it. Anything you are doing that if somebody put hand inside and it will change tastes or it will change color or change design, is not a system. we've all eaten from various eateries before, like Seven, Chicken Republic, Mr. Biggs. The taste on Monday is the same taste on Sunday. The same taste you eat on Monday, if you come there again next year, it's still the same taste because there's a process in which they used to make that food. But if it's only one mama that's been cooking for them since they started, and then the mama dies, the business will die with her. All right. So now let's move from skills to personal output. If you work 10 hours a day, you earn. If you stop, your income stops. If you design once, I'll give you an example. There are churches today, I mean, what church do you attend? RCCG. Who attends CCIA? Anybody? If you look at CCI flyers, it's the same anywhere. Lagos, Ibadan, anywhere. It's because when they decided to come online, they had like a brand person come and put in a direction to how the design is going. So if you see CCI Abuja with the noise and without a person. So if you're trying to build a company or build a brand, and you want to move from skills to system, you want to grow, you want to increase your income, right? You have to figure out a way to make sure it can be replicated by another person. If another person is unable to replicate it and still give the same result, there's limited amount of money that you'll be able to make, right? So if you get sick, what about you? If you get sick for 30 days, you used to get that people used to go on vacation from their business. You know, they call it again, they're taking off time from business. And on that off time, you don't even have the money to do the off time very well, and you are taking off time. You know, because they've not been able to put systems in place. I always like to explain business from different parts or skills from different parts. And sometimes you take that same journey. We have professionals, doctors, lawyers. There's really not much they can do aside be the person that serves. There's no, a doctor cannot start, how do I put it now? You have to get other doctors to work for you if you want your money to increase, but everything is largely dependent on you. Then we have self-employed. Most of us are self-employed, right? Nigeria is bad, so go and start a business. Most of us are, self-employed. And then we have entrepreneurs. Before you can call yourself an entrepreneur, you've been able to create systems. It works without you. It takes 6 months vacation, nothing is shaking. That's how you start to think about your business. If you're looking at increasing your income, or you're increasing this job for and take my, it doesn't even cost much to make 1 million. Who knows the fastest way to make 1 million here? Anybody? Sell a car, a piece of, you have to have the land. How much do you pay them? How much do you pay them? And you are the one setting the rates now. And you are the one setting the rates now. How many people do you need to get to? How many people do you need to get to 1 million? Give you an odd number. 10. That's a lot of numbers. What about you? 5 people. Okay. Makes sense. Now, the reason I asked that question is simply because sometimes when you want to make money, the 1 million is too big. You have to the smallest amount and then look at your capacity and increase it. Then also, you don't have to do all the work. There are people who are just starting increase. Then also, you don't have to do all the work. There are people who are just starting out, who can do the work like you, but they don't understand how. Anybody here a designer? Anybody? Who's a designer here, a photographer? Because you don't know how important my face is. And because you don't have a privacy policy, the client, you assume that the client is the same with everybody. And then you put their picture on their phone, they're like, no, that's supposed to be private, that's my family. Don't. Because how are you bold to tell somebody and you take your money, I will not refund you, no matter what happens? That's what you're indirectly saying. Now we think that we're helping ourselves or we're trying to protect ourselves. But there are other ways to do this. That most people, plan for only when business is going well. There are times where, there's nothing I've not sold in this life, including wig. We're selling wig. It's all in your system, right? So you see, many talented people, they are not broke, they are trapped, right? You're the best designer in your company, best closer in your team, the smartest person in the room, but every project must pass through you, every sale must be closed by you, every decision must be approved by you. You don't own a business, you own a job with a fancy title. I used to be like that, and we have a team of 10. Before design go out, I will approve. Before payment is made, I will approve. Before anything is done, I will approve. If I'm not around, the company is dying. The company is dying. And I'm wondering what is going on. It's because there are no systems, right? A brilliant designer who must design every banner, approve every layout, correct every pixel, growth stops when he sleeps. The sales expert, no sales script, no CRM structure, no follow-up automation, right? If he stops calling revenue desks, so I'm giving you scenarios. For founders, they must approve every payment, every hire, every strategy, every decision. That's not leadership, that's dependency, right? Now, you have to change from skills to system. Income to pay your bills, but the freedom you get from your system is what's going to build the legacy that you're looking for. So if you build systems, you stop chasing growth. You grow, the growth itself will start chasing you. So, all right, so let's look at the difference nobody explains, right? Your skill is your ability. Something you can do well, build through practice, it's attached to you, is dependent on your performance. Designing, closing, coding, speaking, writing, right? Skills are portable, but it's personal. Now, systems are structured repeatability. Anything you can repeat, right? A system is, so you can write this down. A system is a structured repeatability that produces predictable results without emotional dependence. If you made 500K in January and you cannot repeat it in February and March, you don't have a system. It's long. Your system should be able to repeat itself without emotion. So you're not afraid. You know if you do ABC, the money will come aside. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. All right, so structured, define the way it works. Repeatable, it can happen again and again. Predictable, the output is consistent. Without emotional dependence, it does not care how you feel. Your system doesn't care how you feel about the matter, right? It doesn't need motivation. What's on that you say, oh, I need motivation to make more money because you don't have systems. Because your systems don't need any form of motivation, right? Okay, so if you're a skill-based creator, you wake up, you ask, do I feel inspired? Am I in the mood? Do I have ideas? If yes, you create. If no, nothing happens. That's emotional production. But a system-based creator will say, do I have a content calendar? Do I have a research pipeline? Do I have a batch creation day? You're trying to create content. So when I hear people say, oh, I cannot create content, I don't have time. It's because there's no system. Because, okay, for myself, for instance, I do create content, and I create content, I do my batch creation on Wednesdays. It takes me 1 hour, 20 minutes to create 20 videos. And why is that? Before, to create 5 videos, I can do you know that you can make money with, I'll stop. Do you know that you can make money with, I'll stop. I will stay there 500 hours and not make any difference. And then I discovered a tool which is called a teleprompter, right? It's part of your system. So now you have a repurposing workflow, a posting schedule, and you can track your analytics. That's a system. So the difference between somebody who is doing well online as a creator and the one who is not is their system. One person is looking for motivation and all the help and all the content to write, but this person already has the system he uses to generate content. So content will go out, leads will come in, and then growth will compound, right? Creativity feels powerful, but structure is more powerful. Now, let me give you another example. Let's say you are a great closer in your business, right? You rely on your charisma, energy, and confidence. And you, myself, I'm a salesperson. In the past, you used to pay or rent to pay. Now you must close deals. So you're reaching out to everybody with force. Ah, madam, you're not even giving up the amount of discount for people to take. And you're not making any money. You just want to pay your rent. And after paying the rent, you relax. That's not a system. And until you start to implement systems, there's not really much you can do. Right. So let's have a short exercise. So take 2 minutes, write this down. What is one skill I rely on to produce income or results? What happens when I don't show up? Yes. No, in this our age and time now, people have like 50 skills. I can cook, I can wash, I can. One skill that generates income for you, yeah. You rely on. Like, push comes to shove. This is the only thing you are going to be doing. What is one skill you rely on to generate income? And what happens when you are not there? All right, that's good. So note your answers. You're going to look at these things and review it at the end of the class. So now let's talk about why smart people like us stay small. Because sometimes you know these things, but you don't know why you are doing them and why you can't get out of that loop. Number one is ego. I can do it better myself. There's nobody that can do it better than me. And we are stuck there for a long time. How many of us have said this before? Your friends say, how far now? Give this thing out. And I say, well, nobody will run this thing past me. I sabi as I do my work. Now my work with this. How many of us have said that before? A lot of us have said that before. Right? How many of you believe it? Do you actually believe you are the only person that can do that job that way? You believe it. It's ego. You don't believe it, but that's what you keep saying. Over and over again. Knowing fully well that it's not true. Right? What you're trying to say is, oh, standards matter. I don't compromise quality. I like things done right. But underneath it, you're just trying to be in control. And control will always kill skill. So if you must design everything, you must approve everything, you must speak at everything, you must close everything, then your growth becomes limited to you, even if you have it. You still have to, after giving them to do the work, you will still do it just to be like, I'm the one that's running the show. That's ego. So if you are the best employee in your company cannot outgrow you. And that's the truth. If you are the best employee, they can't outgrow you because everything is always dependent on you. If the design does not pass through you, then we cannot run ads. What if you are sick? What if you are sick? Right? No one can do it like me. Right? Leadership says, let me design a way others can do it. So what you want to move, if you want to get out of ego, is saying, what do I have to put in place that if another designer, another creative, another photographer comes and does this work, it's going to be the exact same way. You're moving towards the system. Reason two is fear. The second reason smart people fail or stay small is fear. And your fear says if I delegate, quality will drop. If I hire, I'll lose control. If I automate, it won't feel personal. Quality might drop temporarily, but without delegation, growth drops permanently. So every system, what we must recognize about systems is that it starts messy. So don't hope to get it right day one. It starts messy. It improves with iteration, right? Because if you are used to cooking your indomie with egg, and you're not feeling fine, now somebody has to cook the Indomie. You have to guide that person. If you don't like, for some of us that don't like soggy Indomie, you have to explain to the person that if the Indomie is looking like it's getting soft, take it out of the fire. Put pepper, put this one, put that one. You are iterating, you are changing, you are teaching that person. After some time, you don't even have to prepare Indomie. And this thing goes from just having skills to even how we interact with each other, even our personal lives and at home. Oh, I'm the only person that can clean the house like this. That's not true. I'm the only person that can do this like this. That's really not true, right? You don't delegate for perfection, you delegate for multiplication. You don't delegate for perfection, you delegate for multiplication. And multiplication always beats perfection in business. Now, reason 3, what's reason 2? Reason 1. Reason 3 is identity addiction, right? Some people don't scale because they are addicted to being needed. It's me that they call for that project. I'm the one that they call for that project. They not call anybody else. Just because you want to be the eye of the sun, you won't let people delegate. You won't delegate projects, right? You want to be the hero, you want to be the smartest, you want to be the fixer. You want to be the one that everyone runs to. It's good if you are doing your own thing, but if you want to do it, it won't work. Because there are guys that are good that don't give a shit about you. They don't really care how good you are. I'm here to do my job and I'm going to do it well. And you are trying to get attention, they are doing like they're not seeing you. And you are getting annoyed. If you want to scale, you have to be willing to let go of that need for attention. Systems reduce dependency, right? So some founders don't fear failure, they fear irrelevance. You don't want to be on the project and you are at the back because there are new guys on the block. You always want to be the one coaching, teaching. You want to be the one coaching, teaching, and guiding. Right. Okay, so let's move to some practical steps on how to, build your systems. Sorry. Okay. Let's move to some practical systems, right? So if you want to stop being the bottleneck, you need to understand what this system actually looks like. Every scalable system, no matter the business, has 5 layers. Layer 1 is input. Input is everything that goes into the system. Your leads, your ideas, your resources, your raw material, or even your inspiration. So for a system to work out, you need input. I should say it again. Okay, so layer 1 is your input. Input is everything that goes into the system, from your leads to your ideas, to your resources, raw materials, or even your inspiration. If nothing goes in, nothing comes out. Inputs are what feed the machine. So let's give an example, right? A content system. You want to build content. One of the easiest things to build. Your input will be the ideas, the research, the trends, the inspiration. Without the ideas, the system will eventually die. You need to think about, okay, what's happening in town today? What are people looking at? Or, okay, where do I get information from? What tool will I use, right? What is the input? So the question you're going to answer is, what is the input of your main activity? Remember the thing we talked about that brings you money, right? So what's the input of your main activity right now? Layer 2 is your process. Your process is the series of steps you take to transform input into output. Your process, layer 2 is process. Process is the series of steps you take to transform your input into output. Process turns raw materials into results. So for that same content system, your process would be the research, writing the script, designing, posting. So each step is repeatable. You can use the script to do the whole thing over and over again. You can design the same flyer. You can use flyers. You can have a template. Each step is repeatable, can be taught, can be documented, or automated. So if you disappear today, does your process continue? Answer that question. Look at the process you have today for that thing that you are doing that makes you money. If you disappear today, does your content Does your process continue? Layer 3 is tools. So layer 1 is what? Layer 2, layer 3. Tools are anything that helps automate, simplify, or scale the process. So from software to templates to checklists to frameworks. Tools are anything that helps automate, simplify, or scale the process. So from software, templates, checklists, frameworks. I use frameworks for many things that I do. If I have a web design client, there's an entire framework for how I interact with them. When they text me, how they get messages, how I deliver their work, how I document it, how we interact, all of that. The tools I use to deliver the projects, what I use for meetings, what I use to send emails, what I use to call, interact with them, even your airtime. It's from sales calls that I realized that 400 naira is 1 hour on MTN. So when somebody says, I don't have credit to call customers, they're lying, it's 400 naira. You can talk to 20 people in an hour. That's 40 minutes. You're spending 5 minutes, all of them. You can talk to like 12 people in an hour. That means it will take you about 4 hours or 5 to finish talking to 50 people. And how much is that? 400 naira times 5 is what? 2,000 naira. And you're making 500,000. So it costs you 2,000 naira to make your customer acquisition cost 2,000 naira per 500 clients. But we're not trying any of these things. Tools reduce friction and human error. Tools allow systems to run faster, smoother, and with fewer mistakes. When you have a team and you say, okay, we want to make 5 million this month, and you don't have a sales script, or you don't have a software that you use to track every client, you guys are not going to make. In fact, when your staff comes in, or the person that's helping you do the project comes in, they are going to be confused because they're going to keep asking you, sorry, I just spoke to Mrs. Adeni now. What are we doing next? Once you start hearing questions like that, there's no system. They're supposed to see a well-documented, that's what we call SOPs, standard operating procedures. They're supposed to see what next to do for every task, for every department that they are in. So make sure you have your tools. So for your content system, I'm using a content system to explain. Tools we have Canva for design, we have Notion for planning, and we have Meta Business Suite for scheduling posts. Am I correct? So somebody say, I have to post 20 times a day. I don't know. I don't have the time. Schedule it. Why do you have to leave the work you are doing to go and be posting when you have done it over the weekend, batch create, and schedule for the entire week? All right. So what tools could make your process smoother or automated? Answer that question. For that thing that you do, what tools will make it easier and automated? Layer 4 is people. Layer 3 is what? Layer 4 is what? People. People are the roles you delegate to. Your editors, your assistant, your marketer, your sales rep, and even contractors. You cannot scale alone. People execute processes when structured correctly. Delegation multiplies output. So for our content system, we're going to have an editor, an assistant, a social media manager. They follow the process and use the tools. So even if you are not there, the process works for everybody. You can log in from Canva anywhere. You can log in from Notion anywhere. You can log in from Facebook anywhere. CapCut, you can log in from CapCut anywhere. There's no restriction. So when somebody says, oh man, I don't know what to design, there's no process. I don't know what to edit videos, there's no process. You didn't explain the tools, you didn't explain the process to them. It's not documented. So the next question is, who can execute parts of your system today? For that thing you rely on. Who can execute? Sometimes it's your friends, it's your guys in your corner. It's guys that are trying to learn. I have guys that reach out to me and say, I just got a laptop, I want to learn a skill. I give you videos to edit. You edit videos. And you have the way I edit my videos so that somebody will not ask me, has something changed about your content? Because I have a way I edit my content, so they cannot change it. Do you understand? All right. Layer 5 is output. Output is the measurable result. What comes out of your system. Every system will produce something tangible. If you can't measure it, you cannot scale it. So for our output, we're getting, after creating all this process, our output is 5 posts per week consistently, measurable and repeatable. If it cannot be mapped, it cannot be scaled. So it's your input. So let's call the 5 of them. Input, process, tools, people, and output. Our input is our ideas, process, our script, tools, Canva, people, our editor, and our output is 5 posts weekly. So, have we all finished answering our questions? Our 5 questions. Have you just writing questions? So how to convert your skill into a system, step by step. Now that we understand what systems are, let's go deeper into, let's take your personal skill, things you rely on to get results. First thing you want to do is to record yourself doing the task. When I reach out to somebody, maybe a designer, I used to have a designer, very annoying boy. You will give him design to do. 3 days, he has not finished. And the reason is because he doesn't know how long it takes to do a simple design. His own is whenever I feel the motivation. I don't know if you understand. I'm a website designer. I can deliver, let's say, an e-learning portal in 48 hours. Simply because I know how many pages I have to build, what tools, what a landing page from header to footer will contain, what an about page will look like, what a cost page will look like. I've recorded myself and I found out that worst case scenario, 48 hours, I'll deliver an e-learning website. So sometimes I meet desperate clients. We want to launch, we don't know what to do. I'm like, I need a new website. Are you serious? How does it take 6 months? 6 months, okay. I can do it 48 hours. 48 hours. Say, how much I charge? 1 million. Well, pay me 500,000 upfront. Don't pay me everything. And they pay you, start, finish the work. You can finish the work in that day, but it says 48 hours. You just do 48 hours. So they not think that maybe not do the work away. And then you submit in 48 hours. All they are telling their friends is, it's not that we found a guy that can build websites. We found a guy that can build websites. How many hours? You record yourself doing the task. You write down the exact steps. For anything you are doing, if you want to scale, if you want your guys to move as fast as you are, write down the exact steps it took you. If you're running ads from when you sign in, to when you create your audience, to when you create your demographics, put your budgeting, all of that, fund your account, and publish, you should have that process written down. You can give it to somebody else to start. The next thing is, remove unnecessary juniors, things that waste your time. If you're designing, let's say, a flyer, and you've added colors, you've added pictures, you've added a lot of things, and you know that editing that client's picture is unnecessary. Just do the design and submit. Don't spend an extra 1 hour doing something that even the clients will be like, why did you talk my picture? I like it the way it is. And then you have to start all over again. So remove unnecessary juniors. Create a checklist. Create a checklist. Assign or automate 30% of the work. Don't do 100%. At least find somebody that can do at least 30% of the work, and you will be able to scale. Right? So we have bottlenecks like approvals, money conversations, creative ideas. All these systems you put in place will be able to remove all those bottlenecks. Right? So let's do a contrast. High performance versus high builders. A high performer depends very well on energy, fluctuates daily, dependent on motivation, output is linear, and is limited to time and health. But you now that is building systems, you are consistent, it's independent of your mood. If your client, if you're talking to a client, it doesn't matter if your stomach is paining you, you send a proposal. It doesn't matter if one of your eyes is not working. You call your staff to send whatever document they have to send to sign. If it's 28 and it's payroll day, automated, you don't have to do it. You have sit down one day and plan everybody's salary and pay it off. Not that you're calling somebody, hey, hello, Okay, he sends an mama on salary day. Meanwhile, there are other things that's supposed to be going on, other things you could possibly do, right? Your output will multiply when you put systems, and it's not based on only you. So as we end this class today, I want you to note that from now henceforth, if you want to do anything, you want to make money, you want to scale, you want to grow your business, you need to start thinking in terms of systems, because it's systems that will help you. Even when you're creating offers, don't create offers and say just one. Create for every kind of person, right? Because if you don't, I've been calling 1 million here. If you don't take my 1 million, you will take my 500. If you don't take my 500, you take my 300. But if it's that money will leave your hand, it will leave your hand. There's no way you can escape it. And it's all in your process. Because in my sales script, if I say 1 million, and the client says, no, it's too much. Okay, we'll move you to 500K offer. It's too much. Move you to 300K. That's when we can now say you are not our client if you do not hit the 300K. But if I didn't have the 500 and 300, and the client said, no, I can't pay 1 million, what do we do? Because thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma, for calling. I appreciate that you looked at my brand, blah, 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 and then we move on. Have multiple offers is also part of your system. So I do hope that from now henceforth, stop running, start doing business based on systems. Thank you very much.
Round of applause, please. Thank you so much, Mr. Obi, for that session. It was such an insightful one. As creatives, we learned that our skill makes us valuable and a system makes us irresistible. I hope you grabbed a number of things because I did. Now, we'll be moving on to our next session, which will be focused on achieving long-term success, basically how to build structure, manage finances, and retain clients in the creative economy. To take us through this session, we have Mrs. Titilayo Akinjide. Mrs. Titilayo Akinjide. Titilayo Akinjide is a visionary creative entrepreneur and business leader with a strong track record of building structure, profitability, and sustainability within and out of the creative industry. With over 10 years of experience leading and scaling a thriving creative brand, she has successfully transformed talent-driven operations into structured, system-led enterprises. Our enterprise spans in business development, financial discipline, team performance management, and client retention strategy. Beyond creativity, she's passionate about helping creative entrepreneurs move from hustle to structure, equipping them with a systems mindset clarity. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome Mrs. Titilayo Akinjide.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much for having me. I'm so sorry, apologies, I'm going to be sitting down. I'm quite tired, so I don't think I can stand all through the 40. I think I have 40 minutes to talk to you guys. So once again, my name is Titilayo Akinjide, and I'm the GMC of Pixels Digital System Limited. Pixels is a photography brand here in Ibadan, and it's a brand that has been in existence for 23 years. And let me just run you through a little bit about myself. So I have 15 years postgraduate work experience. So I started in the banking sector. I worked with Diamond Bank for 3 years. Then from there, I moved to what's it called? Blue Shield. Blue Shield is an advertising agency. So I worked in Blue Shield. I worked at Blue Shield for a couple of years, 3 years as well, before moving to Pixels. And I've been in Pixels for 10 years now. And I can tell you that structure is something that I'm familiar with. I've never worked in an organization that is not structured. And today I want to break it down to you guys so that you can know the relevance and the importance of having structure, having system, because I know we've talked, Mr. Obi spoke a lot about structure. I just want you to have, I think what I'll be looking at is the financial part, so that I see that we have a lot of young minds who are just probably starting off. I can bet most of you, probably you just have yourself as the business owner, the one managing the business. Is not wrong. There is no crime in it. Do you understand? So, however, it's best to start right, so that in the long run, you've already started on the right notes. You will make little or less mistakes. All right, so thank you once again. I need to use this or true? Okay. All right, so just a minute. My system is just coming up. Probably. Okay. Okay, so today I'm supposed to talk about hello. Okay, the mic is working now. So today I'm supposed to talk about sustainable success, mastering structure, finance, client retention in a creative economy. And so I have my class is going to be in 4 parts. That's the part that is looking at the finance, customer retention, business structures, and the way forward for us. And so I'm so sorry. I'm kind of a teacher, so probably you guys will be taking a lot of notes. I'm so sorry. I don't like working on the assumption that when I use a word, everybody knows what I'm talking about. So I try to take my time sometimes to break it down to understand that we're on the same page before I move on to the next one. And per adventure, if I say something that, feel free to give me a counter response to it. I'm good with it. So I want to start by talking about what talent is. Oh, sorry, I forgot that I wear glasses. So there is no way we're talking about system and not defining what talent is, the difference between talent, skills, business, and system. So I started on my notes here by defining what I think talent is. So talent is a natural ability. It's something you are good at. It's inborn. You are built with it. It's unrefined. It is still raw. It's very raw. You have the skill. Some people are born talent. They can draw. Nobody taught them how to draw, but they just believe if they pick their pen, they can sketch, and it will come out beautifully well. And we also have skill. So skill is a developed ability. It is a talent that has been trained, refined, and improved on. So you know what talent is, you know what skill is. Skill is you have a talent and you've been able to nurture your talent, you've been able to to groom it or train it to become a skill. Then we know what business. So what is business? Business is the system of exchanging value for money consistently. It is not just doing what you love, but it involves pricing properly, managing costs, marketing, delivering consistently, and making profits. Whatever it is that you do that you don't make profits, you are not in business. You are selling, you whatever it is that you do, even if you render service or products, once there is no profits, then you are not in business. You are just running a charity organization. So I need that to be clear for us before we move on. And okay, so let's move to system. A system is a repeatable process that produces consistent results without depending on your mood or presence. A system is a repeatable process that you set in place, that this is how things work in my place. When you come to my space, probably a baker. So when you come to my space, customer moves from these points to these points. And when they are at these points, you are supposed to attend to them for 3 minutes. It must not exceed 3 minutes. It's like you are programmed. You've programmed your work to say after 3 minutes, they move from the next point to the next point. They are supposed to do this. This is what they are supposed to do. And there is a time frame to say that for this is the customer's journey map. We call it customer's journey map to say that if a client is coming to your space, the journey map is saying that they shouldn't spend more than 1 hour. They shouldn't spend more than an hour. And at the end of that hour, they are done. What happens after the next hour? They are supposed to get so, and this is when they get it. That shows a clear process. Now, in all reality, process don't necessarily or 100% will be faulted, structures will be improved on, especially when your structure depends on people. If a structure depends 100% on technology, technology does not disappoint. It's rare for you to have technology disappoint. Probably you have network glitch, and that one is still poor planning, poor management. But when your process depends on people, fuck up will happen, and it is allowed. But when it happens consistently, that is when it becomes a problem. That means whoever is in charge does not know what he or she is doing. System. So your business. So like Mr. Obi said, he asked a simple question. He said, what happened when you are off your business? I can't remember how you said it, but something like you are not around for a month. Is the system going to die? Obviously, if you don't have the structure in place, it's going to die. If you are a one-man business and it's not a hobby, there's a difference between by the side you have an hustle, you make money from it. Let me give you an instance. I sell cars. I make money from cars. It's not my business. But because I have people around me that expose me to the business to say, instead of just investing your money in treasury bill, in money markets, you can as well put your money in. If you have good money, you can make as high as 2 million, 3 million naira. You may not make sales in 6 months. Do you understand what I'm saying? But when you make that sales, you make good money. If you put your money naira in treasury bill, my banker, in 6 months, you can't make 2 million. You can't. Do you understand? So it's a fast business. It's a very good business that you can make money from. That business is not something that I really know about. I just partner with others. So sometimes it's not, do I want to handle? Do I need to structure it? No. There's no need because it's in passing. I'm just generating income from it now. So don't stress yourself to say you want to structure such. But when you have a business that you want to grow, that you don't want the business to generational wealth, you can't hide from being a structure or having a system. But if it's a business that you're just doing by the way, it's relatively fine to just hang on for the time being. But if it's something that you really want to make a brand, something that you can hand over like an inheritance to your children or to generations yet unknown, then there needs to be a structure. Even if you are alone, you are working alone for now, you still need to put a structure to your work. So how do you know if your business is not structured, if you are running your business as an hobby? Number one, no clear rules, no documented processes, owner doing everything, emotional decision making. So no clear rules. You have a team of 3 and everybody can do anything. So how we satisfy our customer? It is wrong. Why is it wrong? You can tell me, let me give an instance. He is the photographer. Someone else is supposed to be the editor. Somebody else is supposed to be the executive. A customer walked into our studio. The client experience executive probably was not around. The photographer decided to attend to the customer. In the process of him doing his own best to attend to the culture, to always present him for his clear KPIs, key performance indicators. This is what you're supposed to do. This is the expected result. This is what will happen when you did not do it. And this is what's going to happen when you do it. Then, documented processes. All processes should be documented. Every problem. Play on your own strengths and employ people that will help with your weakness. When I scale, this is what I'm outsourcing. This is what I'm getting people in-house to do for me. So don't do everything. When you start off, so that you can maintain consistency, it means that the quality is maintained, the quality is there, but you will grow beyond it. By the time you start handling 1,000 clients, 5,000 clients, can you see it all? It's impossible. You can't. By the time you start having outlets, branches in different, in my office, I have CCTV and I have it on the screen, and I have one directly in front of me that is looking at all the outlets. But I can bet I can't see it all. Sometimes I just like to scare them. I've not on CCTV for 1 week, but I will just on it that day and see one nonsense and call them. Why is this? You don't think, So sometimes they don't even know my CCTV has audio. They don't say, Titi, she's looking at me. Titi is always watching. But I'm not always watching. I don't even have to always watch. Do you understand? Sometimes you still need to step in, because when you pull back too much, Nigeria is a country where people are not disciplined. When you pull back too much, they will feed you nonsense. So you don't want to allow that. So you still want to know that, you still want them to know that you are still on top of what is going on in your space. However, delegate responsibility, work with people that you trust. Once you work, don't, okay, I think the next point is emotional decision making, which is also very important. There's a popular saying that people tell you that if you want your business to grow, don't employ your family members. Because once you employ them, you started a problem that you cannot comprehend. Because imagine you have a business and your elder sister or elder brother is working with you, and he or she did something that you need to like instantly correct. The next thing she's going to do is to do family meeting or family group call. Can you imagine the way Titi was talking to me? Is it because I'm working in a business? How much is she paying me? Blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants to know what happened. The next thing is, you don't talk to your elderly ones like that. So sometimes it's best you leave them on the, we are good. How is your business? My business is good. Even me as a business person, I don't like selling to people that I know. Because the familiarity, they will tell you when to start off, the people that's going to buy for you first are your friends and family. My own ideology, I'm not writing or faulting anyone, but for me, I don't sell to people that I know, because they always give you problems, and I don't want problems. It's not even worth it. It's not what you're supposed to charge 10,000 naira for, because you know them, they want to pay 5,000. Because you know them, they're not going to pay 5,000 at once. Now, because you know them, they want you to give them the service of 20,000 naira for what they're paying 5,000 naira for. So I try to shy away from it. Then when you start running business based on emotion, I'm promoting Mrs. A because I like her. Because she's a yes, yes, yes man. Anything I say, she does not counter it. She's always telling me. People like that, I don't even like them. When I work with you and there's no objection, everything I say is correct. Everything I say is right. Even me, sometimes I try to test them. I will tell them something that does not gel. I want to see what they're going to say. If the person tells me yes, I start marking this person. Oh, you are not good. You are not helping me. So I don't work with a yes, yes, yes man. So and don't make decisions. Anytime you run a business and decisions are made based on emotions, there is no structure. I'm paying you because this month you did a whole lot. You ran from ocean to sea, from deep valley to low valley. So I'm going to pay you extra. I'm going to give you more. So what about next month? So next month, this guy, last month, he ran from A to Z just to ensure that our customers are happy. Because of that, decide to give him 100% salary bonus. The next month, he did not do anything. Not because it doesn't work. There is no running from salary. Public customers are not coming, or things happened. What's going to happen? They're going to put him back in where he was coming from. The guy's not going to be happy. So decisions, there should be a structure. Even if there's going to be a compensation, if there's going to be a bonus, it should be structured after performance reviewed. And you are getting a bonus for whatever it is that you've been able to achieve during the period. Simple. Don't make decision. If you come to my office and you cry, I will cry with you. And nothing's going to happen afterwards. The decision remains the same. Me, I don't even like teary faces. Once you cry, I'll cry. But it's not going to change my mind. Emotions don't move me. If you like, cry. If you like, don't cry. Whatever it is that we want to do is what we're still going going to do. It's not wickedness, it is structure. You have a system, you have a policy, the policy remains the same. If you come to me and you think it was because of your tears, like, nope, before you came, I already know this is what I'm going to do. Sometimes, you want to play mind games. So I have two of my staff here, they'll be thinking, nah, you saying it. So don't let me say so much so that they won't get it all. But don't worry, it is ever evolving. There's no one way to it. All right, so how do you build structure? Number one, you define the role. You have a defined role. Number one, secondly, you have clear. So I already said what defined role is. You have your finance person, you have sales, you have whatever it is, public growing or whichever one. You have defined roles for people that you need. Then secondly, when you want to start a business, you need to have a clear SOP, standard operating procedures. You have to have a clear SOP. Your SOP will contain what your booking process is, what your delivery timeline is, how to handle customers' complaint, how to handle staff issues. You also have staff policies separately, but your SOP is all encompassing. That is even showing how to handle your tools, how to handle your equipment. What happens if equipment drop by accident? How do you handle it? If it drops due negligence, how do you handle it? All these things are things that you put in place to ensure that you are ready for business. Then you also have a clear pricing. How do you price? So I'm still going to talk so more. I think because Mr. B, I think he wasn't supposed to talk about finances, so he didn't dwell so much on that. So I don't want, he has said almost what I have on my slide. So I will skip the part that he has said already and dwell more on the how to set your pricing, how to define your service charge. Then I said you have to have a clear KPIs. You have to have, once you are not working alone, even for yourself, you need to have a key performance indicator. What's a key performance indicator? It defines where the direction you're going to and the results that you expect from it. As a business person, I can say one of my KPI this year is to achieve 1 million naira. From the 1 million naira, my profit is going to be 300,000 naira, while my expenses and my cost is going to be 700. That's a clear KPI that is measurable. It is math. So I can measure it at the end of it, and at the end of it, say, was I able to achieve 1 million? Was my profit 300? Was my expense 700? This year, I want to employ 2 additional staff. But this year, I don't want my staff to leave. These are the things I'm going to do to retain them. I want to expand my business. I want to get 3 more gadgets. I want to upgrade. I want to do this and that. Those are clear KPIs. You can't run a business without having KPIs. KPIs is supposed to challenge you to also monitor your work so that you can know whether you are getting it right or you are off the road. Let me put it that way. Your revenue. So let me break it down one after the other. Your revenue is your income. It is any money that comes into that business. If people give you money, somebody should give me a name here that I can remember. What's your name? Okay, so somebody dashed you money. Femi, you just hired this business. As a good boy, use it for your business. The money is not for you. The money is for your business. Probably before you started the business, you had equipment that you were using before. But because now you want to package yourself well, you want to open a space, you are at the moment learning photography, right, Femi? So you want to open your studio space. You went ahead to sell the old equipment that you were using, the old phone, to get a new one to prepare yourself for the new space. That money is not your money. It is a revenue for your business. And the money must go into the business account. When you make sales, it's also an income for the business. And all these are categorized as revenue. So that's revenue that you make. Revenue are calculated monthly, daily, and annually. So when you look at cost per job. We also call it cost of sales. How much does it cost me to implement this job? Let me give you an instance. I want to look at another field. I think we have a fashion designer here. So how much does it cost you to complete a dress? The money is going to include money for raw material, because you're calculating direct cost of sales. We have what we call direct cost of sales, and we have indirect costs. So if you're looking at your direct cost of sales, you're looking at how much did you spend to get all these materials. Those ones goes into your cost per job. What else do you use? Anything that you use, transportation to get those materials goes into the cost per job. You went to deliver it, goes into the cost per job. Then the overhead. The overhead is people that work with you, including yourself. Then profit margin. Profit margin is after all expenses removed, how much is left. So from this, before we move to the third point, which is pricing with confidence, let's go to understanding expenses. So we have different types of expenses. We have what we call fixed expense. Fixed expense has to do with if you have a physical space, you have rents, you pay your rents, you pay salaries, internet, electricity, equipment, or material purchase. All these are categorized under fixed expense. And fixed expense don't wait for clients. Whether you make sales or you don't make sales, you have fixed expense. How do you break your fixed expense down to understand your costs? Let's assume your rent, your salaries that you pay monthly or you pay weekly, your internet, everything accumulated to 50 million in a year. You divide that 50 million into 12. What's 50 million divided by 12? Actually, around 4.5 or thereabouts, right? Okay, let's use easy figure. Tolu does not know math. 60 million divided by 12. That's 5 million naira monthly. That means your fixed expense is 5 million naira monthly. What does that mean? Whether you make sales or you don't make sales, you are going to spend 5 million monthly. Then we have what we call variable expense. Variable expense are direct cost of sales or job costs. Transportation per job, printing, packaging, props for photographers. We categorize our props under direct expense. So we call them variable expense. They can change. They are not fixed, depending on sales that comes in. If you don't have sales that month, you will not have variable expense that month. So looking at how to calculate costs, we already have, let's say we have a business, Akinjide and Co Nigeria Limited, and we already have a fixed expense of 5 million naira monthly for paying rent, paying salaries, and paying internet service charge. Variable expense cannot be determined. It depends on the cash flow, how many jobs comes in, how much did we spend per this job. That's what variable expense is all about. Then we have operational expense. These are daily running costs that keeps the business functioning. We have data, we have bank charges, we have minor repairs, we have cleaning tools, cleaners and the like. Those ones are operating expense. Most times your operating expense are fixed. They are not so much if your overhead is not so much. They are not so much if you are working with a good team that don't damage stuff all the time, that you need to do so much repair, or your equipment are old and you need to repair. So they are not so much. So let's assume our operating expense monthly is ₦1 million. That means my expense has increased to 6 million naira monthly. I hope you guys are following me. We have marketing expense. Marketing expense has to do with the money you spend on marketing, the money you spend on bringing in sales, on bringing in money. So marketing expense looks at your social media ad, your branding design. CRM is customer relationship management tools. Your customer relationship management tools that you use, and any form of PR that your business does. Those are marketing expense. You are doing billboards, you're doing flyers, you're doing radio jingle, TV ad, or what have you, whatever it is that is relevant in your time. That's marketing expense. So sometimes, most times, your marketing expense tends to be high if you expect so much, you have high expectation and you are just starting off. For a business that is established, that you have the client base, you may not necessarily spend so much on marketing like a business that is just starting. So I just said that this is my own business. Akijide and Co is just starting. So I'm going to assume that my marketing expense is going to be something around 2 million naira. So that means my expense is now 8 million, right? 5 million for fixed expense, 1 million for operating expense, 2 million for marketing expense. If you are following me, we've not done anything on variable expense because it can't be ascertained. Then we have financial and growth expense. What does this mean? Accounting and legal fee. Once you run a registered business in Nigeria, it is, so at the moment you may think, you're not doing it. But once your business is registered, it is necessary to file, to the government at the end of each year. So at the moment, you may not do it and be going away with it. But once you want to bid for any government project, you can't scale away from it because they're going to ask you. You must pay tax. You must pay VAT. We have different types of tax. We have value-added tax. That's the one you pay on products and services, which is 7.5, right? Yeah, so you must pay that. It is compulsory. We have payee, people that are working for you that you must pay. And we also have the last one, I can't remember, when you do annual returns, when you make profits, 30% of your profits every year goes to the government. You must pay it. Even if you did not make profits, you did business and you made 0 naira, you must still file. And this filing, you don't do it yourself. Even if you know how, government will not take it from you. You must go through registered government agencies. They are the one that we have chartered accountants, we have tax auditors, we have tax clearance, blah, blah, blah. They have different names. It's their job to help you with your tax issues. The only one you can do yourself that your accountants can do is probably do monthly remittance of the VAT and do payee. But when you want to file with CAC at the end of each year, then you have the tax consultant that's going to do that for you. And you're going to pay that person. That's another expense. It's compulsory. Once you have a business in Nigeria, once you make above 30 million, they are now increasing to 50 million. And once you make above 50 million, you must file. You must file this. Even if you do not make profits, you file. If you make profits, you give government 30% from your profits. All right, so we'll move to, so you need accountant and legal team. Legal team because legal issues will come up that you cannot help. And people will threaten you with different lawyers so that your lawyer can also be counter defending you. People will owe you money for no reason and they're going to tell you they're not going to pay. And they will give you flimsy excuses. Your lawyer must be there to always be available to go and do shakara for them so that they can quickly pay you. So that, and you also need a company secretary. For every filing that you do, your company secretary must sign. And your company secretary must be a legal person. That means you are paying lawyer annually to sign your audited documents. They've audited your accounts, to sign your audited accounts and be a company secretary. If anything happens, I know about this. The auditor did not lie about the accounts. So that's been said. You also need money for training because you have people and skills are ever evolving. You want to keep on periodically training your team. You also want to train yourself so that you are not static, you are not at the same spot. You want to train yourself. Then you also have money for business registration. Business registration is not one-off. You pay HOISA, you pay NISA. There are so many government agencies that you pay. So there are so many government agencies that you pay annually. And if you don't, once your business becomes big, you are in their eyes, they will look for you, even if you not look for them. And you don't want them to come and embarrass your business. So you have to pay. So there are money that you can't skip. You need to pay them. So, and you need to make provision for it. Then equipment upgrade. Your equipment is not going to last forever. You also need to make provision for it. Equipment upgrade fund. Emergency reserve fund. Let me give you an instance of emergency reserve fund. The time of COVID, businesses were unable to work. A business without structure will not be able to pay salary, because where will the salary come from? But once you structure your business to say that even when we are not working, I have salary to pay my staff for 6 years, 6 months. I have salary to pay my staff for 1 year. I have salary to pay my staff for 2 months before I tell them to go on their own. Even labor law does not allow you to say probably because there is a pandemic and you just let people off without giving them a compensation. Even labor law does not allow it. So that is why it is very, very important and essential for you to have an emergency reserve fund. So that's under financial and growth expense. So to cap understanding expenses of, I said we have a fixed expense, we have variable expense, we have operational expense, we have marketing expenses, we have financial and growth expenses. So at the moment we are on 8 million. So that I won't give you the mic, can you be able to answer it? Hmm? Okay, so the question is this. I'm trying to let you guys understand what expenses look like. What does it mean to say I have an expense? And I broke it down into monthly expenses. If you say that I'm paying 5 million naira per rent, I'm paying so much as my operating expenses, and for me to be able to arrive at 9 million naira monthly expense. The question now is, how much do I need to make monthly to make profits and also to break even? Break even means I did not make profits, but I'm not running at loss. Do you guys understand? Now, I'm beginning to wonder, am I in the right room? Yeah? Does anybody want to answer? You guys don't know it. Do you want to answer? Yeah? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay. So profits does not depend on your capital. Profit has nothing to do with your capital. Your capital is the money you are starting the business with. Your capital cannot be seen. It cannot be held in your hand because you spend it. Do you understand? You spend the money now. What does capital mean? The money you use to start the business. You spend the money, you don't have the money. But how much do you need to make to keep the business afloat, to keep the business running, if your expense monthly is 9 million naira? That's the question. Hmm? There's no right or wrong question answer. So you guys are making it look like jam. I'm confused in two ways. Is it that you guys are not following me, or I'm not breaking it down enough? Which of the two?
So I think we have before all those things running costs, like the fixed expenses, the variable expenses, they are all running.
Exactly.
So if we have 9 million
Yes.
by your calculations, so I think 9 million, so we are making 750. We should be
No,
looking
no,
for
no. That 9 million is my monthly expense.
for a month.
Exactly.
So let me
You want to do the calculation again? Okay. So who else wants to answer? So you have a business, and that business monthly you spend 9 million naira to keep the business running. How much do you need to make profit? It's simple. Anything above 9 million. Anything above 9 million is what you need to make. So this is the catch. If you make 10 million naira, you know you still have cost of sales, and probably you spend 1 million naira to execute that job. That means you did not make profit. You only broke even. You spent 10 million naira and you also made 10 million naira that month. So I'm trying to, if you did not get this part right, then there is no way you can understand how to price your business. There's no way. If you don't know how to calculate your cost, then how do you want to price? You won't know how to price your business, because the determinant of your pricing is not just on the value that you are offering, also your costs, which is a very, very important factor that determines what your pricing should be like. What exactly is my costs? When you define your costs, is when you now think about what do I do to ensure that. So if my cost is 9 million naira and I want to be a billionaire by the end of the year, I don't want to make a 10 million naira. I don't want to make a 15 million naira. Maybe I want to make 20 million naira. So my goal is to make 20 million naira monthly. The next question you will now ask yourself is, what do I need to do to make 20 million naira? What service, what value, how do I position myself? How do I stand out from the rest to ensure that I make a 20 million naira monthly? My goal is 20 million naira monthly. Give or take, sometimes you'll be short 20 million, sometimes you'll be above 20 million, but your aim and your goal is to achieve a 20 million naira monthly, bearing in mind that your costs, your fixed expense is around 9 to 10 million naira. So, are you guys sure you understand? Okay. So let me assume you guys understand so we can move on. So the third point is pricing with confidence. So you don't price based on emotion, you price based on your costs, based on the value you are rendering, based on all the things that you've put in place to make your brand. So that's how you now set your pricing. The prices are set based on the value, the structure, and the sustainability. Do I want to scale up? Is it a business that is going to happen, that is going to be in existence for the next 25 years? Those are the things that you think about before pricing. And underpricing kills growth. When you underprice, when you don't price right, things that happen, number one, you won't be able to upgrade. You won't be able to increase your staff salary. Your business is not going to grow. Your business is not going to grow because you don't have the money to grow it. At best, probably you go and collect bank loan to grow your business. When you collect bank loan to grow your business, you won't be able to pay back, and they will close off your business at the end of the day. So that's why it is very essential to know your pricing, to know why you are charging what you're charging. So whatever your decision is, I'm not saying charge high or charge low or charge in the middle. Nobody can define that for you. You are the one that will define your own market position. Where do I want to be in the market? Do I want to be a luxury brand that I just have selected few and I'm charging premium? Do I want to be a commercial brand that I can accommodate as many as, so that I can have so much money? But you know, for whatever decision you make, they have their own advantages and disadvantages. You need to understand what are the advantages of charging premium, what are the advantages of servicing home, what are the disadvantages before you make any decision. And whatever decision you make is not set or cast in stone that it cannot be revealed. If it doesn't work for you can always change. You can always change it. But don't be someone that is not consistent. You've changed today. Tomorrow you are premium. Today you are low level. The next tomorrow you are local level. This, that. Your customers or clients get confused. They don't understand what the business stands for. And you start losing clients because they don't understand you. Okay, so moving to all right, I was not looking. All right, so I was supposed to talk about client retention and the mindset shifts. However, part of my own system and be time conscious. So I'm not going to lie. The time, especially for so I discovered that probably I need to still break things down. I don't like when I come and at the end of the day I say this, and I'm not making any parts in people's life. At the end of the day, you didn't take anything from this. I really don't like it, so I'm not going to rush it. So I think I'm going to stop here. And on your own, you can always do a lot of read-ups before you make any decision for your business to say this is what I want to do. Understanding your expense alone that we've been able to dwell on about, I think that's fair enough. That's fair enough for this time. So thank you so much for having me here to So I believe we still have where we're going to entertain question, right? Okay. Thank you.
Let's have a round of applause, please. Thank you so much, Mrs. Tilayo Akin, today. And now we're moving on to our next session. But before that, I want us all to do something.
Yeah.
So you meet somebody, make a video with the person, then you're gonna post video on Instagram and tag Creativa Africa. So you can meet anybody, make a video with the person, then post it on Instagram and tag Creativa Africa. Right now. Okay, no, just. Alright, let's go. Make a video with somebody. Say, me. I want to be. so much, everybody. Thank you. Can we get back to you? Thank you, thank you, thank you for making somebody. I love the fact that everybody spoke so much today. Thank you so much, everybody. Now we're moving on to the next session, and we have Dr. Mrs. Oyenike Adeleke, who will be speaking on creative. Can I get your attention, please? Can I get our attention, please? Okay, okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, everybody. So, like I said, we'll be moving on to the next session, and to take us in the next session, we have Dr. Mrs. Oyenike Adeleke, who will be speaking on the creative word formula, money management, and meaningful partnership. A brief about Dr. Oyenike. Dr. Mrs. Oyenike Adeleke, popularly known as Oyenike, is a seasoned business consultant, motivational speaker, and entrepreneurship development expert with over a decade of experience supporting entrepreneurs to start, build, and sustain successful ventures. She serves as the Chief Executive Officer of the International Entrepreneurs Network and is widely recognized as the convener of one of the largest gatherings of entrepreneurs in Oyo State. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as we welcome Dr. Mrs. Oyenike.
Good afternoon, everybody. I wish I could speak like that. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's been an amazing time, and I'm sure you're having a wonderful time. Thanks to the convener. Can you celebrate all the teams this afternoon? Yeah, I know this has been happening year in, year out, and it's been a reminder that somebody cares so much about the creative industry. Now, let me ask you, in this your industry, what is your problem? People know you have issues, yeah? You know. Let's pray that only teams will be able to solve the problem. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about today. The creative industry is so wide, it's so big, especially in Oyo State. And you will see people not coming together to work together. I don't know why. Did they tell you that village people will carry your idea and give to another person, or they think that your eyes? I don't know. But I feel like creative industry should come together more, do things together more, collaborate more. It's two words. No, let me hear it. I love it. It's what? Say it. It's two words. You can be there. That's the solution that God wants to use. It's two words. It's too tiring. It's too, what did you say? On their own. That's why I like this. Everybody else will be, me, myself, and I just want to do my thing. I don't want anybody to steal my idea. I just want to be on my own. Hello? Collaboration is the next competition. So this afternoon, I'm asked to talk about money, management, and meaningful relationships. If I'm allowed, I'll rearrange it. But before I tell you my own rearrangement, does anybody want to rearrange that? Money, management, meaningful relationship. Do you want to rearrange it?
Meaningful relationship, management, and money.
I will give you money when I have. But right now, I owe you, if I sincerely, I'll give you my ATM without the phone. If I'm allowed to rearrange it, I would say meaningful relationship, management, and money. And I'll tell you why. There's no way you can make money if you have not learned how to manage it. And you can't manage money if you don't have a good relationship with other people. Meaningful relationships will get you what your ideas and what your 10 years experience will not get you. I'm a product of relationship. I am 3 people away from anybody. Name the person now, I'll tell you, including Donald Trump. And I'm not joking. I saw the way you looked at me. Yes, I'm 3 people away from Donald Trump. I can connect you if I want to. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I didn't get there overnight. I decided to go out of my way to connect with people. I'm the kind of person that if I meet you for the first time, the moment I start with her, I say, please, my name is Oyenike. What's your name? Can I meet you? That's how to get meaningful relationship that will get you money. Real money. The highest job that I've ever gotten, I didn't get it with my CV. I didn't get it with my 10 years of experience in entrepreneurship. I got it through a meaningful relationship. Somebody needs to announce your name in the high places. I hope you know that success is a cabal. And you see, it's such a cabal that if you don't know who is at the top, you can't just open the door and climb up. They will not open the door for you. If you don't have a meaningful relationship, somebody has to pull you up. Somebody has to give you a complimentary card and say, go and meet that person, mention my name. There's something I'm looking for right now. I've been trying to get it. And somebody just said, go and tell that person that you're from me. That's all some of you need. There's somebody that is taking the president's picture right now. And at some point, she got a job that she could not handle because it was a lot. She had like 4 locations. And she needs to outsource. Why did she call you? She does not know you. Why doesn't she know you? Because you have not made effort to even reach out to the next person to say, this is what I can do. How do you get meaningful relationship? Can you do things for free? Somebody came to my office yesterday and said, you see this way, Nike, she can give herself out for free. My manager is always fighting me because I just say, somebody needs this thing. We're not collecting money. I know what I'm doing. Because one day when I will need that relationship, it will come in handy. I'm starting from the end. Meaningful relationships is something that you need to learn as a creative. Do you know that there are times when you put your name on the door and there are times when you bring it down, you put like 4 names and say 4 of us did this thing. Why? So that you can get wider coverage. Let us stop this thing of, oh, it's my business. I'm the CEO. I'm the boss lady. If you don't see me, you don't see anybody. Hello, where have you gotten to with that? How far have you gone? It's high time we started looking out of our own space and saying that only things, please, when I go for that event, I'm free this Saturday. Let's just go along. I'll tag along. Don't worry. Don't give me anything. If you give me, I'll collect. But you see, this thing of, I just want to be on my own. Meaningful relationship. What's the next thing? Management and money. Let me not talk about management. I'm sure you're looking at it that how do we manage money? You can't manage what you don't have. If I tell people, learn how to manage money before money comes. And I like what she was saying. She asked a question. I wish I'd come in earlier so that I can hear everything she said, and maybe I'll see if I can answer that question. Because sincerely, when it comes to 2 plus 2, I might not know it, but say 2 naira plus 2 naira, I will tell you it's 4 naira. Once you put naira and dollar there, I will answer the question. So if I know I'm not good in something, I cannot manage this thing. If I have a meaningful relationship, managing that thing will not be a problem. There's nothing, you can't be the one doing everything. You can't carry camera, carry video camera, be behind the pulpit, do behind the microphone, do the one starting the sound. You will tire yourself out. So how do you ensure that you know what it means to manage a business or manage money or manage yourself? It's not everything that you're wired to do. Don't try and do anything. You can't be the one doing everything. Jack of all trades is a master of none. Stay with that one thing. If it is editing, stay with editing. I have a guy. He's also a creative. He doesn't take pictures. He doesn't do video. He can sit down and edit one picture for a whole day. One. You just say, go and bring your picture, I'll edit it. One day. By the time you see the picture, you pay him ₦1 million for that picture. You collected 30,000. Hello. He stood with one thing. Everybody knows him for editing. He will edit anything and turn it. And I hope I'm going there. AI. AI is your worst enemy right now. I hope people know. AI changed my picture yesterday night to another picture. I said, who needs photographer? What am I doing with you? But you know that the people that know will know that there's nothing that AI can be compared to a normal picture. You cannot. Do you understand? But you can use it to enhance your images. I won't teach you your job. But you need to understand that you are not everything. If you don't manage your relationships well, any small thing, I don't talk to him again. We don't talk anymore. Any small thing, Utibinu. Any small thing, oh, I'm no longer in that circle. You have been in too many circles. We don't even know whether you are circle now or rectangle. You don't belong to anything. You don't belong to any association. You don't have a mentor. You don't have anybody that can correct you. How well do you want to manage your resources or your talent or your money? You need to understand that managing resources, managing people, managing talent, managing skill has a lot to do with you as a person. If the first person is bad, the second person is bad, the third person is bad, let's ask you about yourself. They can't all be bad. By the time you are reporting, oh, that person, I have a friend. You say, how is this person? I saw a picture. You don't talk again. How is this person? I don't talk. Say, it's not them, it's you. Check yourself. You need to understand that when it comes to a creative, if you hold grudges, you cannot be creative. If you're always fighting, you cannot be creative. As much as I'm not a creative, but I have OND in graphic design. My husband is a graphic designer and he's also a printer. So when I call for his attention, he doesn't answer. I'm just going to sit beside him and I'll be seeing what he's doing. That's how I learned graphic design. So I'm not that good. That's why I say it's OND. It's not BSc. But the truth of the matter is I have a small idea. But if every time you have any small thing, you have issue with this person, issue with that person, you cannot manage this relationship, I'm telling you, you will not be able to sustain anything. We're going to money. But you see, your meaningful relationships, if you nurture it well, you'll be able to manage it. Do you know that I can manage ₦1 million, dollars, pounds, and I might not know the normal accounting system, but if I know somebody that knows it, I can know somebody that knows that. If I say, okay, can you help me with this? Oh, yes. I hope you know that that person can be a collaborator. I say, don't be too greedy to want to make all the profit yourself. That's why it's not working. So let me come to you and say, you know what? Don't worry, take this percentage. Let's do this thing together. There's something I teach them in my network in IE, and I tell them that if you go for an event, or you go to bid for a job, and they say that, can you do this thing? You're creative. And they say, can you supply sand? Don't say no. Anyway, in our own company, we don't say no. You just tell them, that's what I do. Hello? Because you know that you can supply sand and you're in a meaningful relationship. Just tell them, and don't give me invoice on the, just give me like 30 minutes. I'll send, can I have an email? I'll send the invoice to you. The moment you drop that phone, just call him. We need to send invoice to this person. They say we supply sand. I will take the picture of the sand, don't worry. You can do the supply. Both of you will you come together, do the business and make money. Because multiple sources of income is what is, if it's only camera you are sitting with now and video, maybe Makpanyo. But if you don't have a meaningful relationship, there's no how you can make additional income. I'm just being practical with you, and I'm telling you that anytime you have an opportunity, you go somewhere and they say, somebody wants to do something, and they, can you do this? If you don't have a clue, just say, that's what I do. You're not lying. You have a relationship. Abi. Somebody called me recently and said, can you supply sharp sand? I've never heard it before in my life. I'm not into building. I don't know anything about sharp sand. But because they've taught us in business school, especially if you have a network of business owners, can you do this? I said, oh, yeah, that's what I do. And say, okay, can you send us an invoice? Small. As I done before, I said, I just went on the group, who can supply sharp sand? 3 people came, we bidded. We supply, sent invoice. I made money, they made money, everybody was happy. Build more relationships. Work more on relationships. I met Olutim through a friend 4 years ago. It's been over 3 or 4 years. And we kept in touch. We might not be talking every day. There's some people that you don't touch every day, but you know that once they when they post, say hi, like their post, say, you look good, even if they are not. Just, do you understand? Be in people's faces. Let them know that I still there, just in case, anyhow. Let's run it together. Because one day, that relationship will get you something that I've been looking for. I'll tell you this story, because my time is almost up. I was once in a place where I'd been trying to look for the rector of Polyvado. I had a proposal on his table. And I've looked and looked and looked and looked. And you get there, say he's not around. The secretary was, you know, secretaries that used to do like this. And then one day I went to Premier Hotel. Back in the day, Premier Hotel was still there. We went for lunch. And I saw this young lady. I just walked in, bought 1 donut and a bottle of Coke. And she sat down. She was just having her own private time. And I was like, Funny thing is, I liked one of that. She was having a hairdo that was really nice. So I was like, I love your hairdo. Where do you make your hair? Blah, blah, blah. If you know me, if I see you in the bus, I will talk to you. And then we got talking, and I was like, what do you do? He said, right now, I'm not really doing anything. I just finished from school. But my dad is this. I said, who is your dad? He said, director of Poly. I said, do you want another donut? This one cannot do you. I was with her for 2 years. I didn't tell her I was looking for her dad. So we got talking, exchanged numbers. We had a nice time. And I was like, okay, so I'd like to make your kind of hair. Can we go to your salon together? I made sure I was. And then when I was like, I think like the 3rd time we met. So I'm trying to see your dad. Can you take me to him? So he just dropped me. Hello, daddy, somebody wants to see you. I was like, can we go there? Say, yeah. I said, let's go. And they signed my contract. Just like that. You say just like that. You could have said that girl ridiculous because her hair is fine. Especially us women. We have issues. Hello, women, if you're here, say hi. They did not answer me. You know, they are here. They know I'm telling the truth. Meaningful relationships. I'm not here to teach you how to make money, but I'm trying to teach you. I'm giving you soft skills that they will not teach you in business school. But you need to understand that your meaningful relationships will teach you a lot about managing people, managing your resources. Now, let me tell you, how won't you make money when you have those skills? How won't you make profit, extra profit? I told you that I'm 3 people away from anybody. I didn't get there overnight. I got there consciously. I got there intentionally. You have to be intentional about your relationships. You have to be intentional about the kind of people you meet. There's no event I go to that I don't exchange numbers with people. And when it comes to managing people, managing resources, managing money, managing yourself, you need people. I'm a mental health coach and also a business consultant. And when it comes to the issue of mental health, I tell people that if your business is not fine, if the person behind the business is not somebody that would sit down with you and say, how are you? What's going on with your business? Can we talk about it? And you see some things clear. I just be like, oh, wow. I didn't know I could do it like that. And that's it. I want to beg you as a creative. Yes, I know you guys have, it's like you go into that thing to bring out creativity. My husband is a creative. I live with one. In fact, my husband wants to draw because he's also an artist. He will lock himself in a room and he won't talk to anybody until he's done with that art. Hello? Charlie, when he's designing or is creativity includes, it requires you to be excluded, to go into one high. Let's not go there. But I know that you need seclusion to be creative. You need to be alone sometimes. You need to be isolated, quote and unquote. But when you are done being creative, when you are done with that art, with that thing, everybody will say like, wow, who did this? Come out a bit for some air. Meet people. Exchange numbers to people, with people. Say hi to somebody, stranger. Do something good for somebody. Volunteer somewhere. That's the only way you can manage yourself, manage your resources, and manage your time. And I'll say this last thing. When it comes to being a creative, you need to understand that time is of the essence. Because you don't even have to sew dress. They will give you clothes, here, everything. Am I talking? So how do you market yourself to the point where some people will still want to come to a physical store, and even if it's AI they want, you can offer the two. Your industry is at the verge of either a breakup or a breakdown. I need to manage it well. Everybody now designs. Just prompt ChatGPT, fly at Iduro. Give your picture, even if you're not fine, give it to chat. They edit it and they give you a good look. So where does creatives come to update yourself? And you can't do all of this alone. You can't be an island and brainstorm. What's the next thing we can do? How can we do this? But if you're not, it's just me, myself, and I. I'm sorry, Lilofa. It's not a course. So please understand that your relationships matter. Managing people matter. And if you do all of this, money will not be a problem. Hello? Am I talking to someone? Now let me leave you with this. If you need help, ask for help. If you need help, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Intelligent people ask for help. Intelligent people ask for help. So if you are in a place that you need help, look at this place. We're more than, take somebody's number today. I dare you. Exchange contact with someone today. Meet a new person today. And if the person asks you out, go. How will you meet somebody if you don't go out? Marry your sister, marry your camera. I don't even want to go to the love life of entrepreneurs. I don't want to.
Now we're moving into our panel discussion and question and answer session. We'll be having an interactive conversation with our speakers and also answering questions from participants. Answering the session for us is the host of this masterclass and founder of Creativa Africa, Oyede Oluwatimileyin. Please notice shortly.
Where is this? All right. Thank you very much. A round of applause for our speakers, please. I know we have questions that we want to ask them. We all have questions, so please write your questions down. Or if you want me to pass you the mic, I could do well to pass you that mic so we can ask our questions. Thank you very much for honoring this invitation. Um, in my creative journey, I would always say anywhere I go that um, I won't be what I am in quotes as a photographer or even given the privilege to transition into video without the organization that that's Pixels digital system, and the person that directly employed me that time that I did my interview was Titi. Was Titi? Can we celebrate her, please? She will tell me, I don't know how to snap pictures, but I know how to criticize pictures. I know how to criticize pictures. I can remember my last dealing with her when my mark was reduced because of one thing. Because there was rope on the chair. I said, at this level of your creativity, you don't know that you're supposed to remove this thing? -1. Ha! Ma, why? You should have known this by now. That's all. So if you don't want your bonus, you can return it. I'll spend it. That was my last dealing with her. Thank you very much. I believe that experience has trained me to becoming who I am now. And another thing I'm grateful for is that I was exposed to what they call system. The time I became the studio head at Pixels, I understood the difference between being just a photographer, the technical skill, and trying to manage things. And that has opened my eyes to understanding systems very, very well. That's when I knew that you can be a photographer and not even make the money. You can shoot and make the money, but you are still not the one making the money. We have systems that people can even make more money than you. Thank you very much for that. And I met Dr. Oyedike. Hello. I met her at one of our masterclass at IITA. That was Creativa Hangout with Yemi Kings. I think that was 2022 or 2023, where she came to speak to creatives. And that was when she lashed all the creatives from Ibadan there. She didn't even give us any breathing space at all with her words of wisdom. Thank you very much, Ma, for honoring this. And we've been
I'm going to give her as a what you're about to say. When next you come, you're going to get to service what that value that you spend with us for free. And from our own, because it's very important to prepare to start on Monday mornings. We also have real results that speaks for us. We are supposed to put out every day from Monday to Friday next week, so that people can also see the brand. So sometimes you react in panic. You react that you don't want people to spoil the name of your brand. Of course, it is good. It's not bad. Just ask yourself, how many happen? As if you can't help it. You won't be able to satisfy. If you have 1,000, 5,000 customers and you can't satisfy all 5,000, it's not possible. But you need to learn how to manage all the dissatisfied customers so that it's on.
spread.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, before you answer, we have a question so that.
Please.
You're not allowed to fail. But you have to learn to fail fast so that you're able to move, you're able to grow, and don't avoid things. Because what you avoid is the for you front. And maybe that time when you are big, you have too much ego to actually face it. So now that customer is telling you that you are mad, you decide whether you want to insult them when you like your business. It's not when you are big. You now say, this your product is nonsense, you already collect police from them. And spoil your brand. So embrace your problem, don't over engineer, and don't over automate, don't over hire. Work with the people within you. There's always people. There are always people to help, there are always people to volunteer. But don't look at them as though you are doing them a favor. Like you're giving them an opportunity. All the brands I've had to launch, I've never really had to pay for marketing. The first time I launched an app, we did in 10 minutes, we got to 1,180 people without one single sponsored ad. We just got 40 people to be talking about our brand every week. We're monitoring each and every one of them every day. So sometimes you don't need to pay. There are people who are willing to work. Don't assume that there's nobody. You're not alone in this world. That's the main character syndrome that is being your hand. There are people to help you. So use everything in your basket and make sure that you're doing the best before you answer there's no. That's our question.
Thank Thank you very much for that question. Can we appreciate the speakers? Thank you very much. And so, because of time, we would not entertain questions again, but we have a platform, we have a community where we discuss this every month, where we have conversations about business, about relationship, about money, about retaining clients. So, do ensure that you are a part of that community so that when we have our webinars, we can always have that conversation. And sooner or later, we'll be having Ms. Titi on that community to speak to us. And so it's something that is a place where you can now ask questions and we'll answer all your questions. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you very much. Please let's give them a round of applause again. Thank you so much. And now we've come to the end of the masterclass. On behalf of Creativa Africa, I want to say very big thank you to our speakers and every participant here today. We truly appreciate your presence and engagement. And we know from now you support the skills with systems. At this point, we're taking group photographs after which the program officially comes to an end. I remain Promise Olara. Goodbye. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. We can go out for the group photograph. And there's also an application that will be launched where you can finance. Okay.
So you know we're talking about systems and structures and all of that. So I am a team worked on a product that helps you track your finances every day, your products and all of that. So you get a free account, you can track your books, your finances. Because in 2026, you have to stay tax compliant. Government is not laughing with you. They will debit your account and you will cry. You have to know what works for you. You have to keep your records right. Gone are the days in Nigeria where you are spending money like your daddy is the owner of CBN. There are times where we come with the government, at the end of the year, government is going to ask you, how much did you make? If they see and check your account, we have open banking now. So your banks can report whatever it is you have. Let me explain. In the past, if you were owing money in OPay and you had 10,000 in First Bank, OPay doesn't know what you have in First Bank and they're not going to do anything. But right now, you're owing money in OPay, you have money in First Bank, everybody's sharing information. Every single of banks are sharing information and they're going to collect their money. So we're getting to a place where it's going to be difficult to not have your financial records, your credit score, and all of that. So we built an app so you can go to this website, usemana.com. So you track your daily bread every day. So usemana, USEMANAA. So usemana.com and you can track your finances. And if you're a business, it's very easy to use. You can track your products. You can put your products there. It gives you can track your customers, your leads as you're getting them. Very, very easy to use. And don't look at it like it's a big deal. Because if you want to grow your business, it starts from you tracking very little details about your business so that you know what you're spending. It's not that you make 200,000. I mean, I built the app because I've used some before that has helped me. There was a time, I think it was like 3 years ago, I was collecting 250K as salary. But by 23rd, I'm broke. I'm already borrowing money, and I'm wondering what's going on. So I get the tracking app and I track for an entire month. And I saw that I was eating food of 180,000 with my 250K salary. And I'm ordering on hay food and chow deck and living life like a big boy. You don't know that airtime is eating your money because you are loading 500, 200, 1,000, 500, 200, 1,000. When you check it, you are seeing 50,000 naira as the money you spend on data. Some of it is laundry, some of very, very tiny things that you think is not taking money from you. Just tracking it changes the way you handle money, changes the way you see money, changes the way you react to money. And if you're able to track your customers, your business, your products, you will see that you won't be using emotions to do business. If your shoe, let me say you are selling shoe, and you bought the shoe 20,000, and one customer is begging you to sell it 18,000. Your profit and loss, you're already looking at it that 2,000 has gone. So you're not listening to that customer. You'll be tight on business. You won't be doing emotion. Then usemana.com to track your finances and grow your business. If you have questions, I'm here. The website is live, so you can just like sign up right now and you can start using it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Timmy. MANA. Use manner. Yes. No. Is it open? Yes, so you can sign up.